When we talk about belonging, we're talking about, acceptance, recognition, support. So I think that comes into play right away. How are you communicating to your potential caregivers? Come join us, be part of our team, be part of our family, flexible scheduling, all of this, all the normal stuff that everybody blends in on. And this is something that I think Jen will be able to talk about more, especially when we're talking about how to communicate, how to reach out to them and really communicate your ability to recognize the support, to accept them, and to use that as a recruitment tool. But when it comes to the process of retaining caregivers, what are you doing to actually make them feel part of your family? We're going to talk about a few specific methods, but one of the big things that I tend to notice that a lot of caregiver agencies do is they don't really monitor that in-group, out-group behavior. And we'll get into more detail on that down the road. Jen, what would you like to share about this?
Yeah, I think so. I mentioned that building your culture into even the very, very top of the funnel when you're recruiting caregivers is incredibly important. So what I mean by that is literally showcasing who your caregivers and clients are, obviously with permission to use their pictures and things like that. But promoting those types of things on in your job postings, so that we literally the caregiver who's applying for this job can see off the bat, these are the types of people that I'm going to work with. This is what it looks like to do this job. That immediately at the very, very highest level of your funnel or for caregivers immediately starts to foster that sense of belonging. That this isn't, I don't know about you all, but if you look on Indeed, every caregiver job posting looks the exact same, to be honest. That's why caregivers spam apply to jobs. They're just applying to 15 caregiving positions at once because they all, maybe one's offering $1 more an hour or something like that. But they don't really get an opportunity to know your agency or trust your agency. So when you incorporate a sense of belonging and culture and what your expectations are for caregivers, that you're going to be a part of a team that's compassionate and reliable, just like this one that you're actually seeing a real picture of or a real video of. Now that is something that is meaningful. And at Augusta, we find that caregivers applying to our job postings are spam applying a lot less than what we're seeing on Indeed. For instance, in June, we got about 200 applications for our customers, and 50% of them were qualified for an interview. That's significantly higher than what you're going to get on Indeed, for instance. So yeah, anything else to add on that, Julio?
No, and the other thing is that once you actually reach out to them and they actually start coming into your office, that's where you really want to start to foster that acceptance, that whole feeling. It becomes, again, it starts at the beginning. From the moment that application comes in, how are they being treated during the interview? How are they being treated during onboarding? There's a lot of factors that go into play, but your entire onboarding and hiring process really needs to be built around making people feel they belong. When we're talking about, caregivers, there's a wide range group. Caregivers in some states start as young as 16. I've seen caregivers that, I mean, just to make a joke here, not ageist, just a joke, but I've seen caregivers that need a caregiver try to come in and apply for a job, and all of this, this big wide range, how are people treating them? Is that 16-year-old that just finished some sort of caregiver training as part of a vocational program in high school, is he or she being made to feel as welcome and important part of your team as that other caregiver that's been with your company for 3 or 4 years? Is that caregiver that might look like they need a caregiver themselves? Are you making them feel welcome and useful and a part of your team as much as you are that other caregiver that's been with your team for a couple of years. It's not necessarily, about giving them the best cases or giving them it's not about that. It's about making them feel welcomed, valued, and recognized. And if you can develop that from the moment your ad goes out, make them understand that from the moment that they sit there and they get that response from your application, from when they come in to do the interview, from when they're onboarding, all the way through to however long, that 3 to 5 clients that your average caregiver will work for you, you're going to be able to see marked improvements in your retention and your overall profits. Let's be realistic.